afternoon. Welcome to the worldwide premiere of the 9th episode of the Build Your Path series, The Impact of the Industry, Capital Project Management. In this video, we hear from capital project managers, an architect, an owner, and elected officials about the difference one particular construction project will have on the community and young people who access the services provided there. Please stick around after the video because we'll have a Q&A with our sponsor, the CapEx Advisory, as well as the project owner, Nexus-Woodbourne. Please feel free to ask questions and give comments. We'll be able to answer them live. And now let's get to our premiere.
The built environment is all around us. It includes places and things that you use every day: houses, roads, bridges, schools, and grocery stores. But what if we told you that by choosing a career in construction, you're also choosing to build up communities, to build up people's lives? Because physical improvements or capital projects not only help to revitalize entire neighborhoods, but also to improve the lives of those living within them. This is the Nexus-Woodbourne Family Healing Campus, located in Baltimore, Maryland. This nonprofit provides community-based psychiatric, residential mental health services and treatment foster care to Maryland's most vulnerable youth recovering from severe trauma.
The mission of Nexus-Woodbourne Family Healing is to change the course of a child's life by stabilizing families and strengthening mental health. We work with youth who have experienced significant trauma and their families to develop a sense of normalcy, to regain emotional and mental well-being, and to chart a course towards a path towards success.
For Nexus-Woodbourne and other nonprofits like it, specialized facilities are important for carrying out their mission. When they renovate, expand, or build new facilities, they can better serve the needs of their clients. Projects like these are game changers for communities.
Nexus-Woodbourne is not only providing incredibly important service for the youth of Baltimore and the youth of this community, it also provides community space, and once renovated, will provide a beautiful new gym, vocational services for the community, and of course, just be a beautiful gem within the 43rd District.
When work here is complete, not only will Nexus-Woodbourne get a newly renovated facility, new jobs will be created, a historic property will be preserved, and care will be brought to those who need it most. Before going any further, we'd like to take a moment to thank the gracious sponsor of today's video, CapEx Advisory Group. CapEx guides impactful capital expenditures in 3 ways: leading individual capital projects, serving mission-oriented funders, and solving unique built environment challenges. CapEx often works with nonprofits that need bandwidth and expertise to navigate a renovation or construction project while still carrying out the day-to-day work of the organization.
At CapEx, we love working with nonprofits. We find that their projects are the most interesting, the most complicated, and the most important. We met Nexus when they came to us with the need to improve their gym and school. We took a step back and worked with them to look at the entire campus. We realized there were actually a lot of needs. So we helped to identify a design team who could work with the staff to prioritize improvements and ultimately change the way the campus will be used.
Port Copamoc was invited to interview on the Nexus-Woodbourne project. We are, I guess, what you would call a multidisciplinary firm. So we have architects, landscape architects, planners, graphic designers that are all participate in the work that we do. We won the project, and we have had the opportunity to help Nexus-Woodbourne with master planning for their campus.
Capital projects can take years and a lot of money. We have a master plan now, and as part of that work, we are identifying phases so that Nexus has a plan.
Phase 1 will be a 21st century school and a brand new gymnasium for our youth. We have identified the field and the area for our new residential building, and we are working on redeveloping and reimagining our other residential buildings to make our Nexus-Woodbourne campus and all of our buildings a true therapeutic treatment center. For an architect, I think one of the things that I've found is trying to have an impact on others. We spend 90% of our day in the built environment, and what I do influences the way people interact in the built environment, the way people experience the built environment. So having an impact on others is something that we can all do. You know, as an architect, a designer, a planner, they're great opportunities to impact experience.
The work that Nexus does is so important for supporting kids and families. We are so glad to be able to help them envision how to use this campus for decades to come.
What we see in the construction field is the impact that it can have in allowing a program like ours to realize our vision. It is through the work of everyone in the construction field that we are able to reimagine who we are and to expand our services. From the people that are designing the projects, the people that are laying the bricks, to the people who are hanging the drywall, they help us to create an environment that is safe, that is nurturing, that is therapeutic for our youth. So I'd like to send a big thank you to everyone in the construction field for everything you've done to make this vision a reality.
If you're looking for a career where you can help shape the world, then look no further. The built environment can improve sustainability, revitalize communities, and create socioeconomic opportunities. Now is the time for you to be a part of it. From engineers to designers to electricians to urban planners, this industry is shaping the world of tomorrow, one building at a time. Have any questions? Comment below, and we'll do our best to help. Be sure to check out our links in the description as well. We want to be a resource for you as you look for answers on your next steps. So, come and build with us.
Build our campus.
Build our community.
Build opportunities.
Build your career.
Build your path.
Well, there you have it, the premiere of our newest episode of the Build Your Path series, The Impact of the Industry, Capital Project Management. I'm Jennifer DeWeese, president of the Maryland Center for Construction Education and Innovation. We are the nonprofit behind the Build Your Path series. Our mission is to inspire, educate, and connect a diverse population to careers in the built environment. I'm joined here today with Caitlin McGough of CapEx Advisory Group and Brian Fracchia of Nexus-Woodbourne. Before we get to the Q&A portion, can you each take a moment to introduce yourselves?
Sure. I'm Caitlin McGough with CapEx Advisory Group. As Jennifer has shared, we work with nonprofit project owners that are leading construction and renovation projects to help them plan and envision and ultimately implement their projects. We also work with funders of capital projects, whether those are lenders or foundations to place funds in support of capital projects. And finally, we do a lot of work helping organizations get to the starting line, just thinking about everything that it takes to be ready to begin a project.
Awesome. And Brian.
Good afternoon. I'm Brian Fracchia with Nexus-Woodbourne Family Healing. As you heard in the video, we have a residential treatment program, our robust educational system, as well as our treatment foster care. And we work with a variety of youth who've experienced significant trauma to change the course of the children's life by stabilizing families and strengthening mental health.
Awesome. Great to see you both again. Caitlin, we didn't get into it in the video, but you have a really interesting pathway to your career in capital project management. Can you share it with our audience?
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the idea of build your path because sometimes it's not a straight line. So I actually, within a couple of months of finishing college, I was in the Peace Corps in West Africa, working as an English teacher. In fact, my first capital project was actually as a Peace Corps volunteer. I was running a girls mentoring center and we had to replace the roof. So I had no idea that I would be in this industry 15 or 20 years later. But I came back very interested in community and economic development, pursued a master's degree in public policy at Johns Hopkins here in Baltimore, and began working for the Baltimore City Council, really working on the ground in communities, and became fascinated by development projects and the impact that they would have on neighborhoods, and kind of the question of why they were happening in certain parts of the city and not others. I wanted to kind of get my hands dirty in that industry and left the city to work for a nonprofit renovating a really difficult site that had these beautiful old historic buildings that had been vacant for years and years, some contamination on the site, with a vision of bringing jobs and employment back to this community. So I learned all about grants and tax credits that make these projects move forward. And about 5 years ago, came to work for CapEx. And since that time, I've been able to work with a number of nonprofit organizations like Nexus that are doing this great work and need some assistance in moving these projects forward.
That's great. Cool. Honestly, it sounds very similar. Obviously not the exact pathway, but almost everyone I talked to in the built environment didn't start off here, which is why this series exists. Not many people thought to start a career in the built environment, and then here we are decades later. So we hope to overcome that and have kids join it right out of school as opposed to. But I do believe that experience you had, in Peace Corps, in government definitely helped with your current career.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, being able to see a capital project from a lot of different perspectives is so important because obviously you need people who have experience in construction and design, but you need people who are knowledgeable about finance and, the community development goals that are often attached to these projects. So it takes a little bit of everybody.
Absolutely. So Brian, I believe through our conversations, you didn't originally set out to do an entire campus project, right? So what were you originally planning when you first spoke to CapEx?
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we definitely were not. We started our partnership with CapEx primarily to look at our gymnasium and then also our school. Our school is an older building, and we wanted to look at how to do some renovations, bring it up to the 21st century. But through working with CapEx Advisory Group and really taking a look at our campus, and then working with Portland, Copeland, and Match to put together a master plan, we were able to really just reimagine our entire program. So we've moved from some renovations to our school and our renovations to our gymnasium to reimagining the educational services that we provide so that we're able to, currently we offer carpentry and automotive programs to our youth because the trades are so important to our youth, as well as that vocational training for their post-secondary careers. Working with CapEx, we were able to enlarge our vision of the school and add in cooking, a culinary program, add in a broadcasting program, as well as a technology program. Really focus on the life skills, also developing areas for mindfulness. As our youth move through their treatment, having those areas that are specifically designed to their sensory and therapeutic needs. CapEx also helped us to really take that lens and that therapeutic lens and reimagine our construction and our facilities. Everything from, we're sitting on 13 acres of beautiful landscape and really looking at that relationship of the youth to the environment. Reimagining everything from the pedestrian walkways to the youth sitting areas. They introduced us to the concept of biophilic and really using the outdoor area as a treatment space. And then we took that lens and looked at all of our buildings on campus to reimagine how they could become more trauma informed and serve not only as our facilities and our residences, but as an additional resource in our therapy and treatment of the youth.
Wow, so it sounds like, the expertise of CapEx and Horcope and Macht, and, the entire design team and capital project management team have helped you not only get to your strategic goals faster, but even maybe enhance them a bit. It's really exciting, and I think something that maybe most viewers probably wouldn't even realize that a built environment professional could help with. That's pretty cool.
Yes, and they were able to really embrace what our mission and vision were and to really understand who we were and how we are working with our youth. And like you said, we did not understand how much we could use our facilities and use our landscape to be a part of that treatment. So it really was groundbreaking and our vision for our campus.
That's really awesome. And I mean, I've never been on that part of, so I've been in the built environment for 23 years, but I've always been on the construction side. So to see the impact, I've always been to they got to the point where this is what we're designing, we're building, right? But to hear the complete input that a design and project management organization has is pretty inspiring and pretty exciting stuff for me. So, Kaylin, obviously your work is really rewarding. It's clear the impact that you're having. And we know we do have a client with us. But what is the hardest part of your job, and what would make it easier for you?
I think that's a really good question. I think the hardest part of any capital project is the unpredictability. I think, when we met with Nexus and, they shared their challenges, we would love to have been able to, say, well, it's going to take exactly this much time and exactly this much money, and this is exactly how we need to solve this problem. But every project is unique. There are always things that we don't know at the beginning of a project, and so there's no magic wand. And so what we end up doing is as much research as we can. We bring on experts, for example, environmental consultants, structural engineers, that can assess existing conditions and tell us more about, what we might run into. We ask questions, we lean on the expertise of, obviously my background is not in design and construction, but there are people on our team who have that expertise. We learn a lot from past experiences, and that kind of helps to, understand the path that we're going to take with a project. And that's also, I think, what makes this work so exciting is, you begin with this challenge that doesn't really have a clear solution. And then, you bring in the team members and you take the time to develop that plan to the point where you have very detailed drawings, you know exactly what you're going to do. And all of that happens before you even get to a shovel in the ground. And I think that's what a lot of people don't see is, the number of people who are involved in that work just to get to the start.
Absolutely. The pre-construction planning could be decades how long have you guys been working on this?
That's a good question. It's probably at least a year and a half at this point.
Yeah, I would imagine, the bigger, if you get to like urban planning and whatnot, that is a long game. This is obviously a much shorter. When are you guys expected to start construction?
Well, what I was going to say is we are very much at the beginning. I mean, the work that we have done together with Nexus, there was kind of two pieces of it. One was working with a third-party engineering firm that did what's called a property condition assessment. So they looked at all of the buildings on campus to understand, any work that was very urgent and work that we needed to anticipate. And then we worked with Horde Copeland Mock on the master plan, which is really thinking about how the buildings are used and what space planning needs are and how we might phase it over time, because every construction project is expensive and very few organizations can work on an entire campus at the same time. So a big part of our conversation was around what is the number one need, and it sounds like it is going to be kind of the school and gym that we originally identified as that need, but now there is a much more kind of holistic picture of the work that needs to be done and can be done over time. So we are at the beginning, and now that there is a master plan, how that kind of sets Nexus up is that we can begin fundraising for one specific building, and engaging a design team to create plans for that building, bringing on a construction manager who will help us, actually out in the field. So, it's a long relationship when you work on a project like this, and hopefully, we'll be with Nexus for quite a few more years to come.
Brian, I'm going to jump to a question since we were talking about fundraising. I know Delegate Embry helped you guys get some funding for your next project. What are some ways that our viewers can give back to Nexus if they're they're inspired by what you guys are doing there, because it is really amazing service that you're providing to Baltimore youth. How can people get involved?
So really the best way would be to contact our regional development director. Her name is Megan Butterworth. I'd like to put, if we can put her information in the chat, that would be great. It is mbutterworth@nexusfamilyhealing.org. And she would really be, she has walked each of these steps along with us throughout the development phases, and she is going to be, she is always our primary person and really working with some of our community members, and she'll be a large part of our capital campaign.
Awesome. We will get that at the very least posted afterwards if we can't get that up now. So Brian, we saw in the video that your school is teaching skilled trades to your students. Are there any plans to incorporate those projects into the curriculum in any way?
The particular construction project that we will be working on, we do not have, not formally as of yet, but that will be a part of the process, because our youth learn from the hands-on experience. And for many of our youth, their exposure to and experience in the trade field is life-changing. Once they're able to work on a construction project, whether it's here on site or some of the work that we do in the community, it opens up a field and a future that they never knew that they had available. So as we began that construction piece, our carpentry and construction program will be working hand in hand, both with CapEx and HCM, to really involve the youth as much as possible throughout the process.
Well, we should talk, because I definitely have some ideas on how we can make that happen. And even if it's something as simple as, it doesn't have to be the carpentry, it could be any of the students that are learning math or anything like that. There's ways. I've worked with contractors before that have worked on campuses, and ways to include the students and just explain to them as each process is going by, really explaining the process to them, because they're going to be seeing things go up and things changing around them. And I think that's one of the hardest parts about the built environment career, is that kids only know what they see. So usually it's residential construction. They see somebody come in and a plumber fixing a toilet or whatever. And the built environment is such a larger industry than residential construction. Obviously, there's a part of everything in residential construction, but not nearly to the scale in which you guys are doing. This is definitely an opportunity for the students on campus to see the full picture, and to get a glimpse into what their lives could be if they choose to continue on that pathway. Very cool. And Kaylin, we can talk too about how to incorporate you guys in that.
Definitely.
So one last question for you, Kaylin. What's one piece of advice you'd give to someone considering a career in capital project management?
Well, it's funny. I mean, you heard about my path, which was obviously not direct into this field. Capital project management is not necessarily something that you can go out and get a degree in. I think there are some programs, where that's a part of the program, but there are so many ways to get into this space. So whether that's pursuing design or engineering or construction, or finance, real estate development finance is definitely another avenue. So I would say choose the field or the niche that is the most interesting to you, and then look for people who are doing this work. Something that I probably didn't do enough when I was a student was ask people to take 15 minutes and talk to me about their jobs. Take them out for a cup of coffee and learn as much as you can, because that's really how you get to find opportunities.
Absolutely. So for any Maryland high schoolers or about to be high schoolers or recent college graduates out there, or any graduate out there, there's job shadowing opportunities, internships, and youth apprenticeship opportunities. We were chatting before the call. Their Maryland juniors and seniors can absolutely get paid to work in their desired field while they're still in high school and get credit for it. So look at MCCEI.org to find that information, and reach out to me, Jay Sproul at MCCEI.org. We can absolutely make that happen. Well, thank you both so much for spending this time, for taking the time out to make this video with us. It was really exciting for us to showcase the impact that these careers have on the built environment. We're literally building the world and making it a better place. So thank you both for your time on this.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Of course.
Thank you,
Before we go, I want to thank our sponsors once again for your support on making this video, because without your generous support, our work would not be possible. For any of you watching that would like to become involved with MCCEI and potentially sponsor your own film, we'll drop the link to our sponsorship form in the comments. And there are 1,000,001 ways to engage with us and encourage more people to join the ranks in our industry. Finally, I'd like to thank our video production firm, the Alisana Collective, for doing a fantastic job on this video. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to our videos so you don't miss our next one. Take care.
Thanks.